Sweet.
There we go. 3, 2, 1, we're live. So good evening. I'm mikegolfsoregon. With me tonight, I'm pretty excited to have a new creator, new to me creator, a new channel that I've subbed to, Trevor Akamoto with Taki Golf, not Taco Golf, Taki Golf. So Trevor, I'm really excited to get to know you tonight and to talk to you about golf and also about your YouTube channel. So thank you first for taking the time to come on a live stream with me and talk about these things. So I want to start where every single golf brain in the universe is focused right now. Who was your pick to win the Masters?
So yeah, I mean, I don't even follow golf, like professional golf, that well. In the last year, I've probably followed it a lot more, but I just see the buzz. I've seen all the buzz around Bryson, and it's crazy how terrible he played today.
Yeah.
I saw all these people posting about like, shouldn't have put my money on that guy. I don't know. I'm a classic like Rory fan, obviously, but I've always been a fan of Morikawa as well. Just, I mean, we're both Japanese, so
yeah.
No other reason other than I haven't been in the golf media game that long, right? So
right. Ignore the blinking green light here. It looks like it's getting ready to die. You name off a bunch of the guys that I like too. I mean, I like Colin Morikawa more because of the Bay Area Cal ties. I didn't go to Cal, but I had a lot of friends who went to Cal, and I lived in the Bay Area for a while. And like you, I actually don't really follow professional golf that much either. I follow a few golfers, individual guys that I have like sort of local ties, or that I graduated from U of O, go Ducks.
nice.
Guys that played there, Norman Zhang and Wyndham Clark and a bunch of those guys. I'll follow them a little more closely, but I don't really follow the pros. To the extent that I do, it's really about the office pools, the betting pools. And I picked someone this year that I don't really like as a golfer, but he's really good. And I just had a feeling, and it was Patrick Reed, and he started out pretty darn good today. So
I saw
looking
that.
good. Try to win a few dollars off of my friends.
Yeah, it's an exciting week for sure. I'm excited to be excited about something in professional golf because it's so new to me. So yeah,
and you can't really escape it this week. Like, it bleeds into everything. So it's just all encompassing, starts on Sunday all the way through to Sunday. It's like Sunday to Sunday, there's wall-to-wall coverage, and you can't really escape it, whether you're a fan or not.
Yeah, and it's just exploded, this game. It's I mean, maybe because I'm a golfer, I feel like everyone that in the last 5 years, like everyone knows about the golf media now. It's just such a different world, I feel like, than it used to be. So
yeah. Yep. First, I want to say hi to Sydney. Good to see you on here, Sydney. And then Martha Neva Garcia. Wow, 6'7", whatever. Okay. So I want to start here. So I believe, first of all, prepping for these interviews or these conversations that I have with creators, I binge watch your channel. And thankfully you don't have like 300 videos. I think you've got like 50 some videos, somewhere in that range. And I think I've probably gone through, I'm probably in the mid 40s. So I've hit almost all of them. And I know in one of the videos you say, you allude to the fact that you no longer live there, but for a period, and I should start this by saying you live in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I live in Midway, Utah. It's like a tiny, tiny town, kind of close to Park City in northern Utah.
How tiny are we talking?
I can't tell you. There's one street with the one grocery store and gas station on it.
Start with one. You can start and stop with. There's one street.
I know. One stop. Literally one stoplight.
Okay.
No, I mean it's 45 minutes away from Salt Lake, Provo. It's by a bunch of lakes. So my wife and I decided to move up here because we both work remote. So, and our backyard is on a golf course. So we got like super fortunate. But yeah, I mean, all the, Utah is a pretty like smaller community. So getting around northern Utah is super easy. And we bounce between St. George, Salt Lake, and Midway, like all throughout the year.
Okay. How would you describe sort of the Utah golf scene, at least as you experience it, the way you experience it?
Okay, so yeah, I'm 32 now. I started golfing when I was like 14, 15, and it goes the same thing with like ski resorts in Utah. Okay. It was 10 years ago, it was kind of like you could walk on in any course. You didn't know too many people that golfed, but there were plenty of courses around. Now it is swarming with people. Everyone's golfing. You need to book tee times like a week in advance. You can't just walk on anymore.
Yeah.
It is so freaking popular. But there's a lot of different variety of courses out here. Like there's a lot of courses near Salt Lake, and then obviously St. George. It's a huge golf community down there.
Right.
So the golf scene it's growing extremely fast, and it's frustrating because it's getting too busy. And I try to film videos in my own tee time, and it's getting harder to do that.
Yeah. Shrink the game. Shrink the game.
I know. But I love the growth too.
Yeah. So I imagine for parts of Utah and probably Park City, right? Because it's sort of a ski town, you have a very defined season, then the course is shut down. Is that, I think maybe St. George is the exception where they're year round, or parts of Southern Utah where they're year round. What is your typical golf season where you're at in Park City?
Yeah, so typically the course is open right now around April, and then they close down in sometime before Thanksgiving. So it's, the winters are completely shut down in northern Utah. St. George, however, is year round. The golf scene down there I mean, it's kind of like an old retired city, St. George. It's growing a lot. But yeah, I mean, we spent 2 months in St. George over the winter so I could keep golfing. And again, we work remote, so it works out for us really well. And I can't, so lucky to be able to do that. But it's funny, like growing up, you don't have the luxury of moving around so much. So I just remember like ski season started Thanksgiving, and then it would end spring break, March, April, and I would lose everything I learned the previous year in my golf game because I went 6 months without swinging a club, So.
Right. Dominic, this is a golf podcast. Actually, it's labeled a podcast, but really these are just videos, and they happen to go into my podcast, get what you call it, playlist. So I actually had a question about St. George, and I don't know how long you live there, but Park City is probably the same. What's it like living and being in a golfer in basically what's has become sort of a major golf destination? It's like you're a local golfer in an area that's filled with visiting golfers. What's that dynamic like?
Oh man, that's really interesting because you'll find pockets of, like certain courses people don't know about. It's not as well known. Where if you go to like St. George, if you're going to Sand Hollow or Black Desert, right? Black Desert is like the PGA course that they hold in Utah every year, and Sand Hollow is renowned as its, Utah's most beautiful golf course. You run into visitors, you run into professionals, you run into all sorts of people at those courses. But then the other 80-90% of courses, they're just municipal, pretty laid back, low key. So I think both exist. St. George, it's interesting because St. George is like growing so quickly. Like it looks so different than it did 2 years ago, even. But the golf scene is, I mean, it's crazy because there's a big contrast in cities like St. George. There's probably a lot of these throughout the US, but they're smaller towns. Sure, maybe they're golf towns, right? But they are filled a lot of the time with like retirees. So a lot of older people. But so you'll see a lot of the 60, 70, 80-year-olds, and then you'll see a bunch of, just randomly popping up like young families. So you kind of see one or the other and very little of in between.
Okay. So is it sort of split? Like there's the visitor courses, like you say, Black Desert, uh,
Mhm.
Sand Hollow, and then there's the locals courses. I mean, I guess you kind of said that, but what are sort of the
Yeah.
local? What is the biggest difference between the local courses and or the courses that the locals are going to frequent versus those destination type places?
Oh, that's a good question. It doesn't feel as much pressure when you're at a local course. Like it's so laid back. Um, I'll draw the contrast between the course that where we usually stay in St. George. We stay at it's called Sunbrook Golf Club. It's a city course. It's super fun. I mean, it's still a desert. They're all desert courses, but
Hmm.
if I draw a contrast between that and like Black Desert, huge difference. Black Desert, it's a resort first of all, so people stay there from out of town. You're required to have your own caddy, so they give you a caddy when you play that course, and you get a free lunch. They treat you really well, and it's $300 to $500 for a round. Um, the greens are immaculate, and the water features, the bunkers, like everything is pristine. Uh, and then a city course, it's kind of just like I don't want to say Sunbrook is in by any means like in bad shape compared to a PGA course. It's not going to play very consistent. Tee boxes aren't going to be as well maintained, but like I have no complaints about St. George's city courses. Like they take such good care of them.
Yeah.
Uh, that being said, obviously they're different, completely different experiences.
They're not charging $500 a round, so they don't have quite the bankroll to put back into the course that some of these other
Yeah.
venues would have, I would imagine.
No, I
I
mean,
also would
yeah.
go ahead.
I roll up to Sunbrook at 6 p.m. and I know the guys that work there. And a lot of the time they're just like, oh, like, hey, Trevor, go ahead, like go play, go grab a cart or go walk and go have fun. And if my wife and my baby, my daughter and my dog want to join, sometimes they'll join. And, it's like it's casual.
Yeah, those are good relationships to have. That's the way it should be. I get the sense, so Park City being where you are now, right, is sort of a ski town as well, or at least that's kind of where it started as a ski town.
Mhm.
Um, do you find that when it switches over to summertime and the warmer weather and it's golf, is there a lot of people that are like it's skiers and they're now taking up golf?
Yeah, I actually believe that for sure. I mean, I wonder if it's similar in Colorado, but yeah, Park City, summer rolls around and you get the outdoor adventurous,
Hmm.
or the summertime travelers with their families. And it's just like a beautiful mountain town, like nice cool air, get to escape from the hot city. And I don't think golf in Park City isn't a huge, it's not a priority, right? Like there's more people mountain biking, hiking, uh, than golfing for sure,
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, oh, like there's 3 golf courses, let's go play. So,
It sounds a lot like up here in Oregon. It sounds a lot like Bend, where it's
yeah, where do
the
you
course.
live?
I live in Salem, so I'm like
Okay.
3 hours west of Bend. I'm on the other side of the Cascades in the Willamette Valley, about an hour south of Portland. But in Bend, it is the wintertime. Most all of the courses are closed. They don't have snow on them the whole time, but they'll freeze, and so it's just maintenance is a nightmare. So,
Yeah.
but everybody's skiing, right? Everybody's skiing and
Mhm.
snowboarding. Mount Bachelor's right there, Mount Hood's right there. Everything's right
Mhm.
there, and then warm weather comes around, and it's sort of like you're saying they're not all going to golf. There's awesome golf in Central Oregon. A lot of them are going to golf, but they're really more focused on, okay, mountains clear of snow now, so it's mountain biking, it's rock climbing at Smith Rock State Park,
Mhm.
it's whitewater rafting, it's hiking and basically mountaineering and all of that kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
sort of the same vibe, I guess, but it's just really outdoor focused, really like, you know, um, crunchy granola outdoor fitness
No,
focused
it's funny. It's
as
funny
they
that
hop into their very expensive cars to drive away.
yeah, I've been to it's funny that you mentioned you're in Bend. I grew up, so again, this kind of relates to the conversation. I grew up as a competitive, like semi-professional freestyle skier.
Okay.
And, you know, in the summers, it was just like, oh, what do I do like in this off time? So I'd skateboard and I'd go golfing. And, you know, but I never golfed like seriously. I never golfed enough or consistently to get super into the sport or dedicated. And then winter was like where I thrived. And then I ended up going to Mount Hood. I went to Mount Hood probably like 8 years in a row every July. So I
Yeah,
was
the Palmer, is it Palmer camp up
yeah,
there?
yeah. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So I was with oh, what were they? Windell's. It was a
Yeah,
ski camp.
Wendell's ski camp. Yep.
Uh-huh. So I
Yep.
got to you know, I had sponsors and was competing at the time, and so yeah, we'd get invited to Windell's every year and get to ski there, like ski snow on a glacier in July. It
Yep.
was just the coolest thing ever.
It's the Palmer Glacier. That's what I was trying to remember. It's
Yeah.
Wendell's camp at Palmer Glacier.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. What was your event? You said your
I did
freestyle skiing.
yeah, I did slope style skiing. So it's just you know, you basically have a run and you've got like 3 or 4 jumps and you've
Yeah.
got a bunch of rail features, and they judged your, you know, your tricks and your rail, how well you were on the rails and spins and flips and things like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say hi to India.
So awesome. Oh my gosh.
So I know that's why I love the internet for this. Like people in India watching us talk about Palmer Snowfield and Wendell's ski camp and snowboard camp. So earlier you mentioned that it sounds pretty cool. So like I know guys that would go up there still to this day, go up there in the summertime, hit the half pipe or the park in the morning, load up, drive down to Welch's and play golf at the Mount Hood Mount Hood Resort or something like that. It's got like 27 holes, which is actually really cool. You think about it, and the whole time they can do it in shorts because the weather's so good. But you mentioned that you started golf or you learned to golf when you were 14 thereabouts. Tell me how that came about. Who taught you? How'd you get into it? What was the circumstances? Sort of what did you think about it?
Yeah, no, it was cool. I had a kind of a really awesome and you know, with Utah being so seasonal, just an awesome upbringing because of my dad. We like did everything. I played soccer competitively, skied in the winters, tried snowboarding. He always just had such bad golf swing mechanics, and he taught me that. So that's why when you watch any of my videos, you see my slice that I've mastered, by the way. No,
I got all sorts of stuff to talk about on that, on the golf game itself. Yeah.
No, it's funny. It is funny, like filming and seeing engagement and seeing feedback, and people just like, man, you play that slice, dude. Like, what the heck? And I'm like, what do you mean? Because that's just always how my game has been. And yeah, my dad taught me how to golf, and it was just one of those things I naturally fell in love with because it's an independent sport. I'm very independent as an individual. That's why I loved skiing so much. And you just like can always be better, and you're never perfect, but it's always like if you can play just good enough to where you feel like you're getting better, you're just going to keep going back.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's kind of what brought me to it. I got lessons when I was 14, just a few lessons, and that like I still to this day it sticks to kind of how I play golf, and especially like in the short game. So that's where I feel like I excel the most in my game is 150 yards in or like chipping up in my up and down game. That's from like one day of someone helping me with my like it was mostly like visualization around the greens, and it's like to this day I'm 30 now and it's still
with
sticks.
you. That's cool. Sydney says it's an evil drug, and I agree that actually I don't agree. It is a drug. I don't think it's evil. Golf is a great drug. It's an awesome drug.
It is all of the above.
Yeah, it is. So on your game, right? And you talked about it I think in some of your videos, you mention it kind of offhand all the time. Not admittedly the longest hitter. You play let's say a pronounced shot shape. Yeah, you still manage to get your handicap down. I think I know you're low single figures, but I thought you said you're almost scratcher. You just made it to scratch. Is that?
Yeah, right now I'm like a 3.5 technically.
Okay, so you're 3.5. that probably describes the majority of recreational golfers out there. Not the handicap, but sort of like I'm not a long hitter. I play a shot shape that's left to right if you're a right-handed golfer.
Mhm.
But what advice would you give those golfers in terms of using those things to their advantage to score better and see their index drop? Because clearly you've done it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a loaded question. The first like fake answer is, oh my gosh, is keep avoiding dog leg lefts if you're a slicer. Do not play courses that have dog leg
Yeah,
lefts.
it all boils down to that. Don't play
There,
dog leg left.
there's a course in St. George that has like 3 or 4 dogleg left par fours, and I suck playing at that course. It's so funny. Um, yeah, I mean, a real answer is honestly like what changed my game the most, and it was without getting technical or without like trying too hard. It was just getting a simulator subscription and just
Okay.
like going to town. Like I just call it like reps. You need to get your reps in. It's like you need to hit thousands of balls, and over time I feel like over time you realize you learn to kind of mitigate your errors, and it's just like muscle memory. Your terrible shots just aren't as bad anymore. You always kind of end up, even on a miss hit, you end up somewhere in the realm of where you want the ball to be.
Mm-hmm.
And like do not tweak more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, like I will say I'm in the place in my game where it's getting really hard to get below like a 3 handicap, because I've gotten so good at managing my slice. So I'm always aiming on the left rough, and it'll end up somewhere in the fairway. Like my fairway shots are my percentage is really high because it's just like I've done this shot so many times.
Yeah. It's
It,
reliable, repeatable.
so reliable, and yeah, like I feel so safe hitting that shot. The problem, that shot shape, I just cannot gain distance. So that's why I
Yeah.
call myself a shorter hitter. It's like it's going to go 220, maybe 230 carry, maybe in the mountains, 6,000 feet elevation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's funny because I actually wrote down this question. Do you think there'll be a point when you try to change or moderate the shape to see additional improvement? And then and kind of the backup, the piggyback to that was, in other words, like what importance does being an even better golfer, what importance does that play in your life in golf? Basically, what's your obsession level?
oh, for real. I'm trying to get to scratch, like really trying, but again, it's one of those things where I started filming myself a little less than a year ago, and I
Mhm.
was playing with buddies. I was just really obsessed with my game and my game only. And then I reached this skill level, and then I started filming myself. And when I see the engagement and the feedback and comments of people,
Yeah.
it's a hard balance to be like, what do I want to do with my game versus like people are watching me now and calling me out on my freaking slice.
Yeah.
So I have been making little adjustments here and there. But I do not want to lose this sense of comfort off the tee.
Hmm.
Uh, but at the same time, I'm getting tired of people saying like, stop slicing the ball. You're not a
Don't
three,
listen to the
point.
haters. Don't listen to
Yeah.
the haters, Trevor. Don't
Oh,
listen to the
for
haters.
real. And
Yeah.
this
So
is new to me.
Sydney's actually asking the same question, right? Is like, do you reach the point where you say, okay, I'm going to address that shot shape because that's, I think, what might be holding me back from taking it from a 3.4 to a 1 or to a 0 or to a plus.
Yeah, so now it's kind of a staircase. Like I'm going to do one step at a time, and I've been trying to straighten my shot shape, and it's been working. The problem is now I'm going in the left rough, or I'll either like slice it worse than I ever have, or I'll end up like dead straight left rough, which I have never been in my life. I couldn't get in the left rough if I wanted to for the last 15 years. And now it's going 250 to 270 when I've changed the mechanics a little bit, tried to add some speed. But now I'm just like, dang it, like, what am I doing? This is making it way more difficult than just hitting it like 20 yards shorter, you know?
Yeah.
Good question
Well,
though.
I mean, welcome to my world. Left rough, right rough. It doesn't matter. You're gonna hit one of them. It's just I'm all over the place. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, what does Sydney say? That's a hard spot because you're better than 98% of golfers out there, but it may not look like it. I'll tell you, like, I don't people don't comment so much on my swing anymore. They probably should. But I think when I first started posting videos, like every other comment, it seemed like maybe this is just like the impression I got was holy overswing, or it was like stop recording, go take lessons, and I'm like, okay,
It's
I'm not
funny.
really out. I'm not trying to teach you how to golf. I'm just
Yeah.
enjoying the process and enjoying the fun, the hobby of making the videos,
Yeah,
right?
the video production aspect is its own, and people don't see it, but it's if there's 100 steps, like, the golf is one of those steps, and the video
Yep,
production is 99% of the work outside
yep.
of that. Uh, yeah, it is funny though. Like, I remember looking at my swing, like, from 2 years ago when I filmed around out of nowhere a couple of years ago, and I look at my swing compared to then now, and I'm like, "Dude, my swing looks freaking amazing." And then someone will comment and be like, "This dude's swing is awful." What?
Yeah,
What the heck?
yeah, yeah. I hear you. I've had friends ask me, "Hey, they know that I'm recording or whatever. And like, oh, can you record a couple of my swings?" And I'm like, be careful what you ask for. Do you really want to see your swing on video? You really want to see it on the video? Um, if I could sum up sort of your game, right after binging your channel, watching all of your rounds that you've posted, I would say that you play very controlled. You play within yourself. Um, and my question is that a specific system that you're following or that you learned or were taught? Or is it something that you just sort of came up with on your own? Because like when you do your play along
Mhm,
vlog style videos, right, and talk about your thought process, it's very methodical. It's very, like I said, you play very controlled, play within yourself. You're not trying to take too much on. You're playing the shot that you have the best
mhm,
odds of hitting successfully. So
mhm.
is that a particular system that you're following, or take me through that thought process?
Yeah, it's just become habit. I don't follow any system. I will say the one content guy that I've probably, like, utilized is Golf Sidekick by far,
Mhm.
which we all know who that is. But even with before watching his stuff, I think the biggest thing has just been having awareness in my swing and my mindset. Um, I feel like, yeah, to answer your question, no, it's kind of just me. The big thing that I like to think about is I can't, no one can think about more than 2, 3 things at once. So if you're not playing well, I just say slow mo. Like, I try to visualize my swing in slow motion, and then that kind of solves the question of, like, can I get good contact? Because if you slow your swing down, at least for me, my rate of hitting square in the center of the club face goes up drastically. Um, Even if the ball is maybe not going as far, but for some reason that's just always worked for me, and that's the big issue that I am always seeing myself get into, is this habit of, like, I'm a short hitter, I need to hit farther, I need to keep up with everybody, so I need to swing out of my shoes. Um,
Mhm.
and then it's just so ironic that if you just slow down, you're gonna hit farther and you're gonna hit
Mhm.
straighter.
You are
So
preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir because I have to tell myself that all the time because you get up there and you just have that see ball, kill ball mentality. And it's
mhm,
so true. You slow down the swing and you get that flush contact. And one, it feels fantastic, right? It just is like amazing. Um,
soft. Yeah,
it just
yeah,
feels soft and and you just have to get over the psychological hurdle that it doesn't require you to swing out of your shoes
yeah.
in order to make the ball go the distance that you need to if you choose the right club to
Yeah,
swing easy.
yeah,
So
and
that's I think
I will say too, it's just, like, dependent on your individual game. I think everyone should be able to have their own mantra or their own, just, like, things that 3 rules they say in their brain, if they're having a rough round. Because I've noticed it's changed. Like, when I was an 8 to 10 handicap, uh, I was like a 14 to 15 handicap. We moved to St. George and I golfed a ton one winter and I dropped to like a 7 or an 8 within less than a year, but I remember like before the rounds, I would get really focused in my head and I'd think of like, uh, what's that word when you like piece together different words and it spells out like, oh, I forgot what it was. It was kind of like
an anagram, like an anagram.
I would think of anagrams with each club. Like my driver would have its own anagram.
That's good. That's actually really good.
Yeah, but it's funny because when I was like a 10 handicap, I remember my driver was just like, keep your head still, keep your arm straight, keep your weight back. And there were letters for each one. And it's funny because it's a couple of years later and I'm like, I haven't used that in years. But it helped me back then. So I think everyone should have their own little ritual. And I think it's hard to like use someone as a like direct specific template for your game because your game is going to be so different than this other guy,
Everyone's got their own physical limitations, physical strengths, weaknesses, etc., and the mental side of it as well. I wholeheartedly agree with that it's sort of, you have to kind of find your own game. It's interesting. You mentioned it and I recall hearing you actually say it in one of your videos, and I'll show some relevance here. I think you said, okay, I think you said at the time it was like from a 13 or 14 down to, I think you said like a 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you did it in 2 years. And that's very relevant to me because I am in a competition this year with his name's Paul, and his YouTube channel is 50 at 50. We started out, so Oregon, probably a lot like Utah, we have a handicap season, starts March 1st and goes to the end of November. So March 1st came around, my handicap and Paul's handicap were exactly the same, 13.7. They're 13.7 handicaps. Our birthdays are like 2 weeks apart. We're the same age, 2 weeks apart, and we both wanted to get to a single digit handicap. 9.9, totally good with me. I just want to get to a 9.9 this year. And so when I heard you say that, I'm like, okay, I definitely have to talk to this guy. I got to find out like what was in that period of time. Because here's what we did. We're doing a monthly one of these, right? Where we kind of recap the month, how we played and how things are going. But we started out saying, okay, this is my plan. This is how I plan to get to this 9.9. Paul's taking lessons. My plan was volume. I told him I'm just going to play tons of rounds and see my handicap turn over a whole bunch. Because I feel like all the shots are in there. And like a lot of people, that if you golf a lot, all the shots are in there. It's just getting them all kind of close together at the same time in the same couple of rounds. And what I have to score at my home club course, that is the one that I play almost exclusively, not quite.
Yeah.
They're all, it's all within, I can do it, right? It's all 84s and 83s. And I can do that. I've shot that a million times there. It's just getting 8 of them within the last 20 that really matters. So I'm curious, like, what do you recall? Like, was there a process? Was there, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say. This is when you got your simulator and you just started banging balls, but I'll let you explain.
Oh, I love hearing that. That is an awesome like challenge or bet you guys have. I'm so curious who's closer, who's ahead at the moment, but
he's ahead.
Okay, that's good to know. I would imagine like a hybrid approach is probably the way to go. Like volume, but also lessons. Just to fix some of those bad habits. But I mean, I have so many friends that took lessons and I feel like it made things worse for like way too long before they were able to iron it out if they ever did, but I also understand like everyone has their own lives and everyone's busy and it's hard to take out that much time every week for 52 weeks a year, which is kind of what you need to do to improve your game, like twice a week, I'd say. At a minimum.
Well, this is sort of why I went with the volume route, because you've only got so much. I mean, I actually have a lot of time to golf, but like only so much time. And do I want to allot it to playing? Because because there's also, like, I think you were saying before, like golf is that individual sport, but the awesome thing about golf, and I love playing solo as much as anybody. It's probably my favorite time to play golf is those
Yeah.
solo evening rounds or early
Mhm.
morning rounds. But the great thing about golf is it is individual, it is solo effort, but it's super social. And
Yeah.
my golf partner is my wife and my brother-in-law, and we play every
Nice.
weekend. And, like, I don't want to give up that time to go sit there and take a lesson. I'd
Yeah.
rather, like,
Yeah.
be like, "Okay, that's how I'm gonna do it." So that was kinda where my volume my volume idea, I want my cake and eat it too, basically is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm just like, I hate when people tell me kind of what to do in general in life. And that's where I bite the bullet a lot of times and I make mistakes, but you learn the hard way, but it's more independent, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, for me yeah, honestly, you know the answer to that. To have a jump like that, like something needs to change. Uh, and for me, it was really there's a franchise simulator place called the Back Nine. I actually work with them. I do marketing as a day job, and I help them market.
okay.
They have over like 300 locations in the U.S.
I think there's one
Um,
up just north of me, up towards
yeah,
Portland.
yeah, I know there's a couple in Oregon. But there was one like a mile away from my house, and it's one of those simulators where it's 24/7. You book a tee time, you can pay for a monthly membership, and uh, you can go in at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. You can go whenever. So for me to have it that close to my house, it was like it honestly, there was probably like a 2 or 3 week span. I went every day, you know, and I just went in for an hour, went in, you know, and just kind of played the same course over and over. Um, I think that probably didn't help with like my mentality. That was a lot of volume. So I don't think it helped with like my mental game that much. It probably
Course
didn't help me.
management or that kinda stuff.
Yeah, it didn't help with any golf IQ stuff, but it helped me get good contact on the ball. You know,
Mhm.
and that is really cool at this point in my game to where I can simply say, slow down. And I know if I do that, my contact's going to be so solid. So to have that to be able to be like a plan B, you know, like my plan B is I can go back to a fundamental and hit the ball solid.
Yeah.
That got me there. And then the other half of the coin is the golf management, the IQ, right?
Mhm.
And that was a lot. Like I'll say like golf sidekick was very helpful for me mentally from a mental approach, helping me like see how realistic it is to be able to shoot in the 70s or shoot in the, you know, break 80 for your first time, you know, or like just like how he kind of reverse engineers holes based off of using what you are good at the time. Like what club are you hitting the best? Never
Yeah.
hit never hit a risky shot, like things like that. Um, and then over time, you kind of just build your own mental system. And then, you know, I use 18 birdies as my GPS and my scorecard. So like it becomes a kind of like a ritual, but like just so instinctive to go through this kind of flow. Right.
Yeah, I use the Grant, same thing. I've been using it for, I don't
Mhm.
know, 8 years now. Um, for me, it's always I play my best when I remember my mantra, which is, you know what, before you actually step up to the ball and get into the play box, um, take 5 extra seconds to just go through your quick checklist. Did
Mm.
you think of, you know, are you doing the right, is this the right shot? And the one that I always forget is, did you look at the wind? You know, I'm really good about like not paying attention to the wind.
Yeah.
And then obviously it affects your shot and you're like, oh, maybe I should pay attention to that.
Mhm.
But I think that's pretty good advice. And Sydney actually, good good tip here, said that there is a that back nine in Kaiser, which is like a sister
Mm.
city to Salem, where I'm at. So that's
Cool.
cool. I'll have to check that place out. I want to shift gears just a little bit here. So we're on YouTube. So I want to talk about YouTube. You said you've started your channel less than a year ago. Like, what motivated you to start the channel?
Oh, years of procrastination. I've been wanting to do it for man, probably since like COVID. And I bite my lip thinking like, man, if I would have just freaking done this in 2020, I would be, you know, like at the time there weren't too many golf careers out there and uh, I've I had the I was fortunate enough to go to the PGA show in Orlando this year, and I met all of the
Fun.
good guys. I met the guys at Primo, like all of these big brands, and I asked them, like, what are you guys looking out for these days? Like, what's working on YouTube? What tips do you have? And a lot of them were like they're all really nice, humble dudes. They're just like, honestly, dude, I got pretty lucky with the timing. They were
Yeah.
posting videos during COVID. And yeah, I totally forgot what your original question was.
It was sort of what was the motivation? And you basically you answered it, right? You said you
Yeah.
kind of always wanted to, but you like probably around COVID. And I started posting around COVID.
Nice.
Like I have a pretty relaxed approach to YouTube and to my channel. And like
It should be.
I mean, this is a hobby. I remember when YouTube started and I loved the vibe that it was, which was just like homemade.
Yeah.
And I'm not chasing maximization of everything that you're supposed to chase maximization for on YouTube. I want to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it on YouTube, and that's what I do.
I love that.
And so that's why my channel's where it's at.
That's how it should be, though.
Like, and like, if you want to see it, whoops, a little bit of a blip. If you weren't around, it was really fun. But like a lot of people, like my drive to started in COVID. I just didn't have access to playing a lot of golf at the time, and being able to get out and record it. And so I just sort of I posted a few things, and then it just sort of died off. And then you kind of pick it up and then drop it again, and pick it up and drop it again. It's pretty fun. But you've had a fair amount of success. What do you find most rewarding about having a YouTube channel at this point?
Oh man, it's not even like the engagement or the views. It's honestly just again, like it took me years to be able to just prove to myself like, hey, it's kind of a vulnerable thing to do. And it's a commitment, and it's a crap ton of work. Like it's the post-production, the planning, the golfing, the filming, the
shot tracers.
It's sprinting behind the scenes. You're like sprinting sometimes. And honestly, it's been just like proving to myself that like, hey, you can do this. Like you can do this and be committed to something that's this much work. And then all the views and the engagement, the comments, that's been like the cherry on top. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when I got my first like 100 view video, and I was like, imagine 100 people in a room like watching you.
I know.
Are you kidding? And then now there's been a couple videos over 10,000 views and 20,000 views, and I'm just like, so pumped about it. So again, though, the first 6 months is just like no expectation. You're grinding it out like so hard. There's no light at the end of the tunnel to getting monetized or anything. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, like I'm so close to monetization, and I've seen all the feedback. Like I think I've hit the point of the mountain. I'm starting to go downhill finally. It's been a grind. So
so I started a Discord for golf creators, YouTube golf creators, and there's like 20, I don't know what it is now, 25 of us in there. And a bunch of guys are monetized. A bunch of guys got monetized while they've participated in that, and they all have kind of gone about it in different ways. And it's super fun to see them do it, to see people succeed, because that's like one of their primary goals is, I want to get monetized. And so there's like all these different ways to go about doing it. Some guys have done it, and I've interviewed all of them too. So if you go back and look at some of my interviews, some of the guys have done it with viral videos, and literally in one video, they're monetized. Like, a couple of guys that way. And then other guys just like grind and grind and grind. And they get there, right? Just with sheer persistence. And so for me, I think YouTube is sort of it's a creative outlet. I'm actually a pretty introverted person. I'm not shy, but I don't put myself like a networking event. I'm the guy that's ducking out right away because I just can't stand it. Don't
Yeah.
put myself out there that way. But for some reason, I'm comfortable putting myself out there in this format. And so for me, it's I don't know what there is like psychologically about that, but that's one of the reasons I do it. The other is the creative
Nice.
outlet. I enjoy the process of putting together the videos, of making them, and doing all of that.
Yeah.
And then I think the third, but probably the biggest pillar in sort of that three-legged stool is like just to build sort of a community.
Mhm.
And that was why the Discord, that's why I like to do these, is just making the connection with other people who share that interest in wanting golf, but also took that extra step to throw themselves out there, and start putting stuff up on YouTube.
And
Right.
now if you're ever in Utah, we're gonna go golfing.
Well, I think that's one of the first things I reached out to you about was St. George. I think I commented on one of your videos
Yeah.
it's so weird the way YouTube works. Like, we're geographically not that far apart. I mean,
Mhm.
we kind of are, but like
Mhm.
Western US, and for some reason your stuff had just had never come across my feed. And then as soon as it did, I'm like, oh sweet, I watch it. I'm like, yes. And I comment, I'm like, hey, I want to go to St. George. We literally had just been talking, my wife and I had just been talking about it. And so you were like giving me some really good advice and stuff about that, which is
So
so
sweet.
that's what I love about YouTube and what I love
Yeah.
about doing this. I don't do any other social media. This is the only thing that I do is YouTube.
Nice.
And it's just really kind of fun to make those genuine connections with
Yeah.
other creators and with other
So
golfers.
so cool to hear that. And I mean, to hear your purpose behind it is really like wholesome, you know, just genuine, because I feel like it's such an easy game to get trapped in the metrics and the click-through rates and the view counts and the subscribers. So I feel like your approach is the true sustainable approach. It's like it's feeding you versus it's just
Yes.
slowly pulling you, you know. So
And you know that's actually a really good point. Actually a really great way of putting it, which is like it's feeding me whatever it is that it's feeding something inside me
mhm.
that isn't always hungry. And so I'm okay going for stretches and periods where I'm a little less active, and maybe
Yeah.
occasionally I'll just throw something up there, for fun.
Mhm.
But then I'll get through periods of where I'm like really like must be very that needy part of me inside that must be really hungry because I'm just pumping out content, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's just probably the most healthy approach mentally. It's not to say that I don't love looking at the metrics and looking at the analytics. It's fun to see things pop off every now and then.
Mhm.
And it's fun to be rewarded with engagement, rewarded with people taking the time to subscribe.
Mhm.
But it's not the end all be all for me. And I think in
Yeah.
a lot of these early interviews talking to creators who like that was their drive was to get monetized. I think if I go back and watch, I'm pretty sure in every single one of them, I told them like, that's cool, get monetized, but like, don't sacrifice like your joy
Yeah.
of doing this for
Yeah.
that. Right. Cause that's,
Oh.
then it doesn't become, then it's no longer a hobby and you've turned it into a job. And the last thing in the world I want is for golf to be a job so that when
Mhm.
I'm not working, I don't even want to golf.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you
And I,
hit on a really good topic right there even, and I would love to ask some of the bigger creators, like, if they feel that way, you know, who have millions of people watching them, because I'm sure there's so much pressure when it hits a certain point, but when
yeah.
you're at the very bottom, it's like, "Oh, what do I do to get there?" And, you know, right now I've you know, 9 months into this journey, and I'm like, I have hit little points where I'm like, I've had to step back and be like, "Are you having fun? Like, is
Yeah.
this
Yep.
is this ruining the game at all for you?" Um, and like in reality, like just straight reality, some days, yeah, like some days it is like that. Some days, most days it's not. And at the end of the day, I'm, you know, 100% sure it's worth all of this effort. But like when you're committed to anything, it's you have days where you're just like, man, this is I don't want to be doing this right now, you know?
Right. It's really about perspective, I think, and maintaining your perspective.
Yeah.
Trying to remember which there are one of the bigger creators. I don't remember if it was, I cannot remember who it was. Um, one of like Bob does sports like that level.
Mhm.
And it's easy to look at those guys and say, oh man, look at that. They golf for a living. That's got to be great.
Yeah.
Well, you're just completely ignoring what you just said. They're golfing for a living. That's their job.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an attorney, so I do attorney things
Mm.
for my job. Guess what I do when I go home? I don't do attorney things,
Yeah.
right? If golf is my job, and I wish I could remember who it was. I don't think it was George Bryan, but I want to say it was like
Mm.
one of the Bryan brothers. I'm like,
Wow.
no, I'm out here playing. I love golf. Don't get me wrong. I love golf and I play to create content. But
Mhm.
when I'm not creating content, I don't play.
Yeah.
I don't play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I love golf too much. I enjoy all of the other non-pressure things about golf,
Yeah.
non-job things about golf to ever want to be in that position. And probably I keep reminding myself of that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
a 53-year-old guy who's like a 14 handicap, I'm not taking this rocket ship to the moon on the golf videos. It's easier to keep it in perspective. But for someone who's a good golfer playing picturesque courses like you are, who has some skill with the camera and the editing and stuff like that, and engaging
Yeah.
personality, who knows?
Yeah.
You could, but
Who knows? But kudos to you for finding the balance, because I have a knack for being just too stressed and overwhelmed. Like I just tend to turn hobbies into, small businesses or like over the top goals that turn it into not hobbies. That's just kind of my personality, but I'm getting a little older. I'm trying to find the balance like you. So who
yeah.
knows what'll happen,
That's cool. I want to finish with this. Okay, so it's been we're just under an hour here, and I don't want to keep you. You were gracious enough to jump on, and you jumped on late for your time. So I'll finish with an easy question. This is an easy question. What does golf mean to you? What role does it play? What need does it fulfill in your life?
Such a good question. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a game, but it's become so encompassing and such a metaphor for a lot of, things I'm going through. Like I have a 1-year-old, it's my first baby, and
Congrats!
it's
Congratulations!
yeah, thank you. And it's been such a ride going through that in the last year, and golf has kept me sane in a lot of ways. It's kept me grounded and focused, and right now, I think it's kind of transitory. Like it can be anything you want it to be. Uh, it's more than a game to me right now at this moment. It's kind of something to chase and something to always improve on for myself. And it's a very literal metaphor for that. Like life, we're always striving to be better, do better, be healthier. But golf is like a very literal. There's a number behind it. There's strokes behind it. So it's helping me stay focused on that progression. And it's perfect. It's exactly what I need at this moment in my life right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a good pressure. It's a good pressure release valve, right?
yeah,
For all the stuff that I know. Like I have 2 daughters,
nice.
and they're much older. They're getting ready to turn 27 and 30.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm way past 1 years old, but it's awesome. Every step of the way is fantastic. But I
Yeah.
do remember like it just built right. There's a lot of pressure to be a parent of a young kid, and they have so much ahead of them, and you want to do right by them. So I get that. That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Sydney says Mike's gonna hit the senior PGA tour in a couple years. Sydney, I'm old enough. I'm old enough for it now. So. But I'll never be good enough. But well, listen, Trevor, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you being so open and honest and answering my questions. I want to thank everybody in the chat. If you're watching vertical, you can't see the horizontal chat. And if you're watching horizontal, you can't see the vertical chat, but it's been pretty active on both sides. So thank you for that. If you are not subscribed to Taki Golf, Taki Golf, please go and subscribe. You will not be disappointed. Very good golf, very good tips. You play some gorgeous looking courses, man. Oh, one last question. Is it your brother? Does your brother film everything for you? Because I see you have somebody filming for you a lot. And I'm like, that makes me so jealous.
It's my wife. She films me a lot. And then I have a buddy who helps me a lot as well. So and then the other part of it is I just film by myself, you know. But yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have someone to be behind the camera.
Yeah, that's that's great. I'm like I said, I'm very jealous because I don't have that, and whatever, life goes on, right?
You've got
So,
2 daughters, man.
yeah, I do, but one's in Texas and the other one works full. They all work full. They both work full time. So
Yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
it's me, and my wife is golfing with me, so she's not going to record me. But
Nice.
Trevor, it's been super fun. Thank you again. Like and subscribe. Taki Golf, and I will see you in the next one.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you so much, Mike. It was an awesome chat.